In this video, we're going to go over some different ways you can manage Kundalini energy within your body. So oftentimes I get a lot of messages where people start to have this big energetic opening and the energy will start to open at spontaneous times, or they're just really not sure what to do with it. This will be a few different practices that you can do to manage and control the energy on your own. First, I'll explain why it's happening at these spontaneous times. So the energy, it's always supporting us. It's always wanting to clear things from our bodies. And if we don't give it the space to do the work it wants to do, sometimes it'll sneak up on us and it'll move at these different times. So it could be right before you're going to sleep. It might be while you're out at a cafe. Who knows when it's going to be? And it usually has a way of being at an inconvenient or surprising time. The best thing that you can do to work with this issue is to give your practice more time. So if you start to commit, let's say 1 hour a week, I'm going to lay on the mat and just let my body process, let any somatic movements come through, let any sounds come through, let any expressions come through the body, then oftentimes it comes at less spontaneous times. So this is because we've given it the space. You'll find that usually when you are more in a relaxed state or going to sleep, that the energy will start to rise. This is because you finally like, oh, okay, I've let go, and the energy is like, okay, now it's my time to get in there and do a little bit of work on this person. And so when we give it the space to process, this is going to happen less and less. Another thing we can do to help control the energy, to help manage the energy, is to bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. So when we get into these very expansive states with Kundalini, our body also gets into these expansive states, right? So we get very, very open. And doing physical things to make our body feel more contained, to feel a bit more contracted, is helpful for bringing the energy back in. So you can bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. And if you're in a practice and you feel like, oh, the energy's still running, I can't get it to stop, just placing your hand here, adding a bit of grounding touch as you're doing it, and mentally thinking, I'm grounding my body, I'm pulling my energy in, is one way that is super supportive to managing it. A third way that you can do this is to visually think of all of the energy coming in and compressing into your spine, as if you're storing it all for later. So if the hands are flipping and you just don't know what to do, all these movements start to come through, visually bringing all of this energy in towards your spine and think, I'm here now, I'm compressing it, I got this. This is gonna help you to bring the energy in and to stop all of this fluidity and expression helping through the body. The fourth thing that you can do to manage the energy is to speak to it. And that might feel a little bit silly or a little bit weird to speak to an energy, but it's true. We can be in communication with these energies and with what's happening. I like to teach Kundalini as it's a relationship that we are cultivating to this energy. And in relationship, you have to communicate. You have to speak to each other. So really speaking to the energy and saying a command, okay, I want to bring the energy back into my body right now. I want to ground my body. Please allow the energy to start to compress into my system. These are all things that you can say to help to bring the energy back in. And the first couple of times when you start to work with commands, it might feel a little bit off. You might be like, I don't know about that. That sounds pretty weird. But it's actually, it's something I really recommend getting used to and getting comfortable with as an energy worker, because the more that we can take command of our own system, the better. Especially if you dream of one day being a facilitator, it's super important to be the one that's truly the operator of what's happening in your system when you are facilitating or when you need to. Of course, in Kundalini processes, we want to be soft and surrendered and open, but it's also very important to learn how to work with your own energetic body as well. And so I hope those tips are helpful. Those are 4 different things that you can do to start to manage Kundalini within your own body. If you're curious to learn more about Kundalini, I have a course called Learn How to Work with Kundalini, and it's going to give you a lot of foundations in theory and practices that you can start working with it on your own.